Let's tune in live into our hot podcast, Imbawula, Azishe, Imbawula.
Welcome to Paid for Pleasure, a collaboration between Swift and Imbawula podcast. We're just here having a conversation around some of Swift's members' attendance at the SVRI forum. You're going to tell us a little bit more about that. My name is Mangwane and I use she/they pronouns. Like I said, I am from Imbawula podcast. I do creative direction. And I have Pam, Connie, and Megan here with me, and I'm going to give them an opportunity to just introduce themselves and situate themselves to the viewers. I'm going to start with Megan.
Yes, so my name is Megan Lessing. I am from Swed, been with Swed for about 6 years now. Busy with all things media, communications, advocacy. And maybe just to contextualize Swed for a little bit, Swed is, like Kamo said, the Sex Workers Education and Advocacy Task Force, an organization that advocates for the decriminalization of sex work and for the health and human rights of sex workers. Yes.
Hi, my name is Constance Mathe. You can call me in short Connie. ACJ, the National Coordinator, the Coalition for the Decriminalization of Sex Work, which is a program of SWED. I've been with the organization for a very long time in different departments.
Give birth to
I'm done.
Hi, my name is Pam Ntshekula. I am a lobbyist officer at SWET. What else?
The face of SWET?
Oh, I'm the face of SWET.
Come on, face.
I am the face of SWET, baby. And also doing our TikTok, I'm big media all the time.
I'm really enjoying like seeing some of Sweet's content on TikTok. I think as you know, I'm always like, oh, let's repost. I'm really enjoying it. And I feel like Sweet must come give us lessons for our social media. So like
Nothing for my heart.
Nothing for my heart. Paid for pleasure.
Yes, because I'll be giving you pleasure.
Come on. Okay. So speaking of like this sort of sweet Imbawula type thing, I just want us to maybe, and I know you said you do a lot of media and whatnot. This is maybe an out there question, but I just wanted to sort of you to discuss a little bit about how, in general, Sweet and its advocacy, how you have used media, and then obviously now we're sitting here and having a little bit of a podcast. Maybe it's a bit of a shift to be on a very like heavily digitized platform. Just a little bit of that.
So you guys are looking at me.
Ma'am, you are home.
Yeah. So I think the media ties in with the advocacy because it is the ways in which we lobby. It is a wonderful tool, both in terms of reach, engagement, education, awareness. So it is definitely a tool that we use. And obviously, I think looking back, SWET has a rich history, and even the way that we communicate about, I think SWET was very pioneering in the way we talk about sex. We talk about sex work, the business of it, the livelihood option of it, the lived experiences of sex workers, and all of that, I think we've done through the mediums that we have, social media, this. We also have to contextualize it. It's a wonderful tool, but it's also a tool which has, in some ways, you have to navigate very carefully as a sex worker rights activist, and also, a wonderful tool, but it can also be extremely violating. It is something that we have to navigate, very carefully, but also responsibly.
And I think I'll say even from like, we do a lot of like queer advocacy, and I can relate to that, like having to navigate it very carefully. I think for us, one of the biggest things about being on a digital platform is the internet makes people feel like they are anonymized permanently, and they can say like a whole bunch of BS on the internet and think they can get away with it. And I mean, I'm sure I've seen Sweet's pages, I know Sweet gets it on social media, the comments we've gotten some of it. on our comments. But I also like what you said around like your interaction with the media, really humanizing the sex worker experience.
We also have like in our inboxes like women that are praying for us, sending prayers of how we must change, and Jesus is gonna save us.
Like
also give us the Bible scripts.
And then maybe that's gonna be the most transformative.
Apparently.
Best approach. So I think like I was talking about how we it also humanizes us, and I think part of the human experience, like you said, there's always a need for a balance in what we frame. So I know we're attending, I'm not the three of you, attending SVRI forum is it next week?
Yes,
actually next week,
Monday, right?
Yes. So I'm gonna start light. What are you excited about? Like, what are you excited about when it comes to attending the forum? Or what are you anticipating? Let's start with that, with a positive.
For me, it's quite interesting and exciting a conference to be, because I was going through the program. I found a lot of interesting agendas that are in the program. So I would love to attend, because most of them is not something that I'm kind of familiar with. I haven't touched those programs. So I'm there to learn, also to kind of share the knowledge that I have. And I saw there is quite a lot of research because I am around the children. So there is also something that we are finding so difficult in sweat, that we are trying to see how best can we accommodate that in our programs. So it will give me a kind of a platform that I can unpack that, and also hear the other countries and hear other people, how are they dealing with the situation.
Okay, so now for me, I don't know whether I'm excited or anything, but I feel like I'm gonna be there to be questioning everything when it comes to sex work, because I saw like the program, and most of the things that are there is no sex work, like there is nothing, zero, and I'm really hoping that we're gonna get a platform where we also have to talk and also share our own views on sex work and just decrim and everything. So I'm ready.
Okay. I'm ready for you.
Grab my mic, man. Grab it.
Come on. For me, I'm really excited to be there. It's a kind of a great opportunity for me to attend this conference, and it's my first time actually. So it's so amazing. The reason I think that for me to be there and attend this conference, I'll gain a lot of knowledge from the programs that are placed there, and also I've got a lot of things to share with them, especially around the decriminalization of sex work, which I felt like it wasn't quite really mentioned.
Yes. So content is deep. It is valuable. It is like you said, it's inside, outside of sex work. Even in the space of being in this forum, we're going to say to be there. We're going to say to also having a good time, and we're going to say to take care of ourselves, and each other and other people. I am wanting to just circle back to one thing, to find those commonalities that Connie talked about, in our advocacies. I hope to meet people, what they're advocate for, what they're advocating for, how can we help, how can we assist, how can we collaborate. I really just want to be enriched by this process, and I'm hoping that it is a good experience for all of us. I'm also hoping to keep people up to date. I am trying to convince my team here to do little video daily diaries, talking about our experience. So let's debrief every day, let's unpack, and I'm hoping to share with everyone so they can go on this journey with us.
Okay. So I think I'm going to circle back to that second part of the question now. That was, I don't know what else is a really convincing thing, but it was around the fact that, you all highlighted decriminalization of sex work, and the conference is very focused on sexual violence. We have a sexual violence problem in our country, but also in the spaces that we advocate for, whether it's queer people, sex workers, etc., etc. And I just wanted to get maybe you Megan can do that, just draw that link around how decrim would actually be a win in terms of dealing with some of the sexual violence challenges that we face.
Yeah, so I think firstly we should talk a little bit about the violence that sex workers face. But for us, and I think this is, some people think that sex work is innately, dangerous and you are vulnerable. But for us, it's important from a SWEC perspective, from an advocacy perspective, to contextualize that the sex work is a crime in this country. It is criminalized, and the violations that happen to sex workers, the violence, the sexual violence, physical violence, and we should not forget structural violence, is happening under criminalization. That legal framework, it helps, it fosters, it creates an abusive, innately abusive environment. We talked a little bit about the violence that sex workers face, and the violence that sex workers face is pervasive. It is from law enforcement, it is from clients, it is intimate partner violence, it is
from community,
stigma, the barriers that we face, in terms of access to health, access to justice. So all of those things is violent and it's pervasive, it's there, but it happens under a specific context of criminalization, where it is made very easy to violate sex workers, both their rights, their bodies, and that is the reality of it. And I think when we talk decrim, we think an opportunity to show that sex work is a livelihood option, the choice that goes around, choosing to do this work, choosing to look after families and make sure that our kids go to school or whatever you need to do. It is a choice to do work. But then, in that work is the rights that come with it, with a choice that as a person who lives and works in this country, I have the right to safety, I have the right to be secure, My choice or anybody's choice of a job should not be shouldn't have impact on my safety and security and my dignity and my freedom to choose at the work, freedom to have, what is it that we say, and I'm hoping that we really do get an opportunity to talk about the strategic litigation case, because that's a prime example of a sex worker detailing her experiences, and also others who've come together and detail exactly what happens under criminalization. So do you want to add things?
Yes, for instance, hello Mike. I want to add on, it's so ugly and very, very wild, but it's triggering that there's still men out there who thinks when you say a sex worker was raped, then they still ask you, but isn't that part of her job, can't you? Those kind of things. I had someone who actually asked me that about, so what do you mean that a sex worker needs to go and report, because that's actually what she's using. So if a guy now is actually getting a vagina, so why is it a crime and everything? And I'm like, so are you telling me that if you are working with your hands and everything, if they get chopped, so you get scarred and everything, so you must not get things to be done. So we had a very, very intense thingy. We even broke the friendship thing because of that. Because actually, he must go to hell. Why? Just because now it's the same thing of the corrective rapes where people will be like, but you see, this is what you wanted and everything. Or I'm going to give you a good dick, I'm going to give you a real dick kind of things, you understand? It's very saddening as well that there's people out there who still think like that. And Now imagine if we have this decree and then now we talk to people so that they understand that sex work is work. When I am a sex worker, it don't mean that I'm looking for to be raped, I'm looking for HIV, I'm looking for STIs. I also want to get justice, I also want to get health services like any other person without going to the clinic and say that, oh, I'm a sex worker, so you must expect me for 10 days or whatever things, or 1 day a month. Let me get those things without having to disclose my job. Because for someone else who's working in the domestic thing, who has an ongoing thing, is because there's different STIs. There's STIs that are not curable, firstly, you understand? That they come and go. So now are you telling me that you're also going to ask a domestic worker that, why are you looking for an STI? Why are you doing those things? You understand? We really need to push in Yoruba. People must understand that we are not asking to get a specific or a special treatment, but to see sex workers as people, and also to understand that each and every woman's right is also every sex worker's right is also another human right. Do you understand? So that we don't look for different or special attention.
I get that. We need to also get consent.
You are in my mind. I was literally about to
come on, put it on next.
To just add on, I just want to highlight the issue of exclusion and inclusion. When we are discussing about the sexual health, they're talking about the sexual violence. These struggles, they interact with each other. There is an intersectionality around this. So when you want to speak about the women's issues, you cannot just speak about women's issues without mentioning sex work. And when you mention sex work, you cannot just leave behind the decriminalization of sex work, because globally everybody knows that the issue of criminalization totally doesn't exist, it doesn't work for sex workers. So also, I just want to say, look at when I'm talking about the intersectionalities of these struggles, I'm talking about every woman faces it. Right now, currently in South Africa, the high rate of rape it have increased more than before. Everybody knows rape have become a norm. In people, they have normalized it. When we read about rape, a woman raped is just like counting numbers, statistics and whatsoever. Every woman, it happens to everyone. Whether you're a sex worker or not a sex worker, every woman is kind of facing the same challenge. Talk about abortion. Sexually healthy, reproductive. The abortion, it happens that all of us as women, we face it, and we need access to abortion, because you come across it that you're pregnant with a child and you're not ready to kind of have that child. So when you're talking about the intersectionality, it shows that every woman faces the same struggle. But how do we uplift and talk about our feminism and lift each and every woman to make sure that no woman is left behind? So if we say, okay, sex workers are calling for decree, I'm not going to involve myself. You have to involve yourself. It's part of our struggle. It's part of your struggle as well. Whether you advocate for LGBTQ, you're also in that struggle. You're any marginalized community, we are facing the same struggles that we need to talk about it, we need to support, we need to create the spaces that all of us we can access those services and support each other and lift each other.
I love that. And I like that it touched on
I wanted to say amen, sister.
Amen.
On
a whole of like my brain thing. And I think especially the perspective around like sexual and reproductive health and public health. So I'm doing work around actually access to abortion. So you mentioning that and actually drawing that parallel between that and decrim of sex work has been so interesting. And even like I'll talk from my own perspective, sort of my encounters in my own space outside of Imbawula, is to have SWET come in and teach masters public health students about decrim of sex work has been so impactful, and it's a form of sort of, you radicalize people in that space, being able to see the research applied and seeing the impact that decriminalization would have when it comes to public health, when it comes to sexual violence, I think has been really, really interesting. And I was just saying to Megan, like, she's actually in my brain because she mentioned the word consent, and that's something that came forward to me like very strongly, because I think I always say that like South Africa, I'm going to say South Africa, but it's a lot more general, has a huge consent problem. And by consent, I don't even just mean as it relates to sexual violence. In any space, people don't understand, I don't like this, I don't want to be called this, I don't want to be touched this way, I don't want to participate in this. And sort of, you know, what I think both you, Megan and Pam, were talking about around the work of sex work, and people not having that understanding that when I choose to participate in work, it's often, yes, there's a power dynamic and that sort of muddies things around consent, but there's a consensual type of agreement there, and there's stipulations. How I'm saying, there's a contract, they tell you what you need to do, what you're going to do. So even in sex work, whether it's a verbal agreement or whatnot, but there is that type of agreement. Outside of that is actual violence. So I just wanted maybe if you can talk a little bit more around that theme of consent and some of the ways that you hope it shows up, even whether it's in the conference or your own messaging on this platform and moving forward. Anyone can take it.
I'll start.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm happy that we talk about this because, I mean, sex work, like you said, sex work or no sex work, in the act of sex alone, consent can be withdrawn, you know, at any stage, you know, whether money is exchanged or not, whether, you know, whatever has happened before, you know, once we have drawn the line at something, and that is so important for people to understand.
Yes, even out of sex work, the people that are in spaces with us don't understand the consent until it happens to them. And then they're so touchy and everything, but we go again and say, yeah, feminist bodily autonomy, blah, blah. And then the same person comes to you, and you're like, hello, since when are we, you know, and then when you tell them no, they're actually doing what they see outside, and they feel like because we're in the same space that we're supposed to be okay with each other, touching each other, and you're like, no, it's not supposed to be like that. If I'm saying no, I'm not trying to play, I'm not trying to do anything, but I'm telling you, I'm not practicing something that I'm supposed to say outside. I'm telling you that stop doing this, you understand? They feel like it's good when you're doing flirty, but okay, then come and kiss me, or going to come and kiss you, and you're like, but no.
When you just the one that is,
you know, about consent and everything. Like we are so not safe everywhere.
I think it's also this thing where people don't understand the sex positive space. Just because we talk openly about sex, we talk openly about issues like consent, and we talk about the work, sex work, and stuff, that just because that space exists, that anything else is a go, you know. So yeah, we need to.
Like also you're gonna learn about your sex work, how and everything. Like you find other people, if you're wearing cleavage, and then they'll be like, oh, I so wish I could just play there, blah 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 blah. Or someone just say, "Hi, Mrs. Boobs."
Yeah, just on that issue of consent, I'm more focusing into the digital consent because now, okay, by the way, I am a sex worker who's working online mostly, so the digital consent is affected the sex workers the most. Sometimes you upload your photos, you know, to advertise on your ad. Some people take those photos and sell them without your consent and make money scheme using your photos. Some people take it and edit your pictures and use it for TikTok for funny and all those kind of things that is happening on digital, and you can't control. Once the things is out there on air, we can't control. Even the agencies that we trust, sometimes you get disappointed because right now there was an issue. Some of my colleagues, they told me in tape review, there is an agent that they are using. It's in America. It's a digital platform where you can advertise. So the person, because you have a specific person, if you are waiting for a certain agent to come and take pictures, that person take the pictures without their consent. He's waiting for an agent. Out of the agent's policies, he take those pictures and start selling them and start making money, asking client, making his own business on the side, asking client, I'll sell you this video, pay me, and all those kind of things. But now you're seated here, the poor woman who put a picture there, who's trying to make living out of it, is not making money. Someone else take out of your consent and use it. And where is your privacy? Because you trusted that agent and there is a contract that you signed and all that. And now you go back and say, this is what is happening, this is what happened. Because they send an email to each and everyone that you do not respond to this person is no longer with the casting company whatsoever. And then now the thing is that when their feet is out, she's out. And there is no control over it. And then now when you go back and say, I'm a sex worker, I give a consent to this agency, it goes back to the criminalization issue. So it's kind of a limiting sex workers to kind of also opening the case and, you know.
I think that's such an interesting perspective around that digital consent, because it even speaks to the fact that we, like, you know, the first thing I opened with was like, why are we sort of pushing ourselves to move our advocacy into a digital realm? And I think some of the conversations we've had as Imbawula and other people that we work with was around our use of digital platforms, because we use these platforms, you know, for our advocacy and for our work, but there's a lot of violence that gets directed towards us, not only by other people who use the platforms, but the platforms themselves, the algorithms. You know, as we were sort of discussing, you know, our framing around the series, one of the things that came up was, whenever Imbawula posts about something that's to do with sex work, our numbers go down. Yeah. That's a very deliberate act. Like, that was a very deliberate action. Because algorithms, I know we talk about algorithms as this like mysterious thing that exists, but someone had to write the code for the thing to do that, right? So it's a very, like a very, very specific and a very deliberate act. And I think we're constantly grappling with how to work around that. I mean, but there's also smart ways to do that and to work around it, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to work through some of that. And I think also just mentioning this use of digital platforms, my big, it's like our parting question and a little bit of a journey type of story, just a short synopsis. So Pam, as much as Pam is here with Swig, Pam is also a member of Imbawula Queer Podcast. Pam is all over. And I want you maybe to highlight a little bit why you felt that it was important, one, to platform not only just Sweat on a digital platform, but the entire movement around Declan, and also why maybe around this particular conference, if it's not too much. I'm asking too much of you.
You are very too much. I'm joking, so I'm going to try and answer my best on your 10 questions. And yes, I am part of Imbawula. I was actually forced into going to this space by someone I won't even mention. You know? So she was like to me, listen, you're going to this, I'm throwing you under the bus, I'm not going to this space, you're going to this space. And I'm like, but why are you going? But Shem, thank you, person. But thank you, I'm here now. Look at me. So yeah, we started, this started very small, though. It started very small, and we were actually talking about it, you know, last night, but how did Imbawula start? You know, like no one knows because we just matched. We created something very beautiful. And it's so funny even how we danced around it, because we were given assignments and everything on to do some things, right? Then as we were doing all of those, Saziva from the radio, hello, my voice is actually nice. And then I remember the person, who was training us from Bush.
Oh.
And then what he did, he played the whole thing, he was spelling in some ways and everything. And I saw myself from you, Rogers Bonele, or Bonele FM, and I'm like, this is actually good. I love this. And then we came with the name on how we're going to be cooking different topics and everything, and I named it Imbawula as we shared. So it was named Imbawula, and we've been cooking, we've been doing great things, and I love the fact that whenever we talk on what is Imbawula on people get more interested. That because we did something, we did the undidn't. We turned stones that no one understood, but we can actually do it. There's podcasts about drama and everything, and look at this 9 people or 10 people, and that must be like but
we're less than 10.
We're less than 10.
No, it's like 10.
We did.
Oh, we did?
Yes.
I don't know it.
So, it's all these 10 people are here, and we are throwing things, and we're so diverse.
Yeah.
We're so diverse. We have your trans, we have your lesbians.
Come on, lesbians.
We have like gender non-conforming people. It's a lot today. So it's so beautiful that it's like a fruit salad kind of thing, but I'm the strawberry in that fruit salad.
Oh,
that is sour, eating all your juices.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's so beautiful on how we are cooking yesterday and going to spaces and talking about the problems that we are facing each and every day. And I am grateful and hoping that there will be more from our funder to give us more spaces to talk about what women are going through, what trans people are going through, sexual reproductive health, young indoor sex work.
I love that. And I think maybe my parting question to Connie and Megan is around sort of, you've seen parents' journey, like going through thought leaders and ICT, and then all of a sudden it's no longer thought leaders, now it's a podcast called Imbawula, and then, but it's not a podcast because you guys do other, what has been sort of your experience just witnessing that journey, but also what has it brought into Sweat and the movement?
How did I get you?
So I'll go first.
Okay.
So yes, So the question was the journey in Imbawula and what it is. I think I'm going to start at the end because I think this is where we are. When the African Women's Development Fund, talked about this platforming of having Sweat represented at the SVRI forum, I don't think there was hesitation as to when we talked about the media aspect of it, who's going to be leading that, It was always going to be Imbawula. Because I think, to some extent, the forum and the conference in itself, so all these group of diverse people coming from all over the world, coming to talk about their research, coming to talk about the things, and it kind of mirrors what I see here is, like you said, this group of diverse people coming together, sex workers, gay, lesbian, trans, and gender non-conforming, and everybody is here. And then we intersect our advocacies. We are very intentional about our collaboration, how we highlight each other's victories and struggles, advocacies, learnings, everything about each other. And I'm hoping that, and I think that's where the framing comes in, we are being platformed, is supported by the African Women's Development Fund. We hope to, and we're doing the same for each other. This is Imbawula, it is also Sweat. We are together and not together. No. I love you. Anyway, so I think this is the journey. I saw, incredible growth from everyone from Imbawula. And yeah, so I am very proud to be part of this series. I'm hoping that we will work together in the future much more. So, and also, can I also just say this, that it's not last born, and also the youth aspect day, guys, so young, so vibrant, so smart. I am proud of each one of you, but you're basically coming on this journey with us vicariously, digitally, unerically, so collaborations,
Thank you.
And I've been watching for you guys from a distance. I know the time when it was started because it was a discussion, and I thought it's one of those things that the youth gather together and have funny and post pictures as usually. And Pam, she brought it to us as an excitement. Every time she looks so excited about it. And on the other side, I was like, oh, the youth, they were playing there as usual. And so you guys, you come and exhibit your work at the Arasa. Yes, you start explaining to us what is this, what is going on. As I was seated in the room, I see a bigger picture that how do we pull our advocacy and put into this. And now I'm seeing the young people who are very kind of active and who are very vibrant and who have got this kind of an exciting thing that they are bringing on a platform in our advocacy, an angle that no one has ever thought of. So now I was like, it's quite interesting. Then I'm like, okay, I sneak into your social media and now social lurker. Yes. Okay, I'm learning a new language, social lurker. I got that. So I was like, okay, let me sneak and follow up and try to support where I can. And then I found so interesting the work that you are doing, and also to kind of have young people, as Megan said, pulling this kind of work together is so difficult. Also, the other thing, the last time when you mentioned, guys, you mentioned that you didn't have even funds. So putting work like this and without funds, without an organization that can support you, all things to try and project, yes, that they tried to kind of support. So it was so amazing, and watching Prem growing into that. She's been a baby in our advocates office, and we saw her growing and developing another skill from different of her comfort zone. That only thing we talk about is sex work and decline. Now she brought this kind of a unique, beautiful flower that we didn't know. So I wish you all the guys.
Not a flower.
A beautiful flower.
It's still growing.
It's blooming.
Still growing.
So I want to say, with this kind of work, I can see you guys going too far. I wish all the funders here can see your work and support you.
Just give us the money.
The other thing that I found quite so interesting with you, especially as advocating for decriminalization of sex work, you kind of having the languaging, you have the languaging and you understand the narrative on the ground and all that. It's so unique, and you have diversity agenda identity within the Imbawula. So it kind of spreading the messaging around and attracting many different people, different walks of life, that they can understand the kind of work that you are doing. So for me, I would like to say to you, great work. I salute your work, and I wish you all the best and successful, and also more funding,
more money.
If I'm a fund, I could have said I'll fund you. We will.
something simple. I might leave you out of this one, sorry. Is one of the big things with Imbawula that we do is a lot of like, you mentioned how Pam got this new skill and Pam was excited. I think one of the big things about a digital platform is it feels so intimidating. The skill part of it feels like I have to know everything now. And whenever we do, whether it's a training or an outreach, one of the things we try to demonstrate is you actually don't need to do that much. You can literally have, I think our first season was 2 phones, one taking video, one here.
For the speaker.
Yeah, and even when we do outreach, we play games that demonstrate to people that like I can turn you into a podcast. So my question to Sweet is, how did you feel being a podcaster today?
Oh wow, yes.
It's extra. We gave you.
You did, and one of the things that I love about it is that you came into it in our space. That is also not your space. You feel this is home. No, it's a good thing. I mean, currently I'm not a podcaster, so I am at home, but I'm also at home with my people. So that was already, half the work done. So not tricky. I'm not gonna lie. But also I love unpacking this. So I think it shifted very quickly from it's a podcast and I'm talking with my people about the things that matter to us, and I'm hoping that it translates to people, and that they support, Sweat, support Decrim, support sex workers, support Mangwane. I was waiting for you guys to say as they share and wow.
So we want to support Imbawula.
Anyway, so yes, so I felt very good today. I want to do it again. So if you have me, but yes, thank you.
Thank you. For me today, it was just another level of eye opener. It just opened my eye, and just working with you, having funny. It was really not funny. It wasn't a kind of one of those shoots we normally have, long shoots, intense or anything. It was just flexible and relaxing, and seeing your fresh faces around us. It was just a relaxing space, and having a nice discussion that is just flowing, and listening to the younger people again. I get so excited because I feel now I'm old. Like So it has been a great day, and it's been an amazing journey with you today, and the work that you're doing. I don't want to say, keep it up.
And to answer you, we are definitely going to do it again.
Yes. We're gonna be back.
We'll be back. So thank you for hosting Paid for Pleasure with us. And as we close it, to Sweet and Imbawula, as
Imbawula.